Hey guys, this is Dave from Apex-Used-Appliance-Control-Boards.com. Today in the shop we have the older style Maytag. This one's made by Jenn-Air, but it's still a Maytag made unit. And we're just going to show you how to test these before you buy a control board. Just in case you're still wondering, do I need a control board or do I not need a control board? So the first thing we're going to do is just talk about the model number and the part number on these. The part numbers on these have to come off the control board itself, and we'll show you that in a minute. You can get cross-reference numbers from the model number, and I'm going to show you where that is right now. The model number is down here on all these, pretty much any oven actually, right down here on this sticker, and that's where you get the model number. You can look up part numbers that way, but on these it's much better to get the part number off the board itself, and we're going to show you that in just a minute. So we're going to walk around back and show you how to get them out, and also how to get them tested. Alright, thanks for stepping around back with me here. So first thing I just want to discuss is we've got the entire back panel of this particular oven off, and it had quite a few screws coming right down both sides. This one has to come off completely before we can come up here to where the control board lives. But first thing I just want to show you is where the terminal block comes in, and that's the power coming in from your wall. And then right here, first thing you want to do is make sure there's not anything broken, burnt, charred. That'll be a main reason why you may be looking for a control board, just because you're probably missing one of these legs, line 2, line 1, or neutral. When these will burn off completely, you just want to give these a shake, make sure they're tight. If that all looks good, then we're going to try to come up here to the control board. We're going to get the cover off of it, and we'll show you how that goes right now. So you got to get the screws off and around the edge here. These ones are a little bit more tricky than most. And once you got them like that, there's a couple screws down here, actually, right here. We rotated it down, but they're right here, and you're gonna have to get them from the bottom. So you have to get them from like that. Okay. All right. So now we've gotten access to the control board, and what we're going to be looking for is line 1 and line 2 coming up from the terminal block. You can just follow these wires straight up, black and red, coming up to the control board, and we should have 120 volts coming in from line 1. That's the black wire, and we're going to get the voltmeter out and show you where to test and how to test that. Alright, we've taken a second and taken off a few more of those screws just to get you a nice clear picture of what we're working on here. So right now I have this red wire connector. It's going to the black wires coming up from the terminal block. It's a P8, P as in Peter 8 on the board itself. That's marked. That one should have 120 volts all the time. So that one is showing 120 volts. If that's present, then we know we're at least getting the power from the terminal block up to the control board, and the proper voltage is showing there. That's one that illuminates the display on all these ovens. So without that 120 volts there, then you got something else going on, probably coming from the wall to the terminal block and up. Got 120 volts there. We're going to show you how to do bake and broil, and that's the yellow and blue wire. We're going to actuate those by switching the power on and off and checking for 120 volts switched, and that goes down from the yellow and blue wire down to your bake and broil elements, and we'll show you exactly where those are at too. Alright, what we've done, we've just disconnected the yellow wire from the control board, from the relay that it lives at, and then attached our red lead from our digital volt ohm meter, and then the other one, the other side of it, the black, is then connected to the neutral. I forgot to mention that. Down here in the middle of the 3 wires coming in neutral, the black lead goes there, red one's on bake, and we'll go ahead and actuate bake. It takes a few seconds to click in on these, and then what we want to see is 120 volts coming out of that lead, and like I said, you'll hear the audible click, the relay will turn on, and then it takes about 4 or 5 seconds for there it goes. So that's bake. We're going to do the exact same thing now with broil. Alright, so now we have the blue lead removed from the broil relay, and now we're going to check for 120 volts going down to the broil element from the control board. So it's going to take a couple of seconds to actuate, just like it did on bake. And we hear the click, and there's our 120 volts. So both of these relays are working. This board looks to be good. We'll check all the buttons on it, make sure the convection works and all that. But bake and broil are working, and just want to show you real quick how to test the bake and broil elements before ordering a control board, because they may be bad, and that may be why you're thinking you need a control board. So let's check that out next. Alright, now we're just going to talk about how to test the bake and broil elements. Up top here, this is broil. I just disconnected the wire from it. Of course, now the oven is disconnected, it's unplugged. And then the other side is right here. That's the other side of the broil element. And what we're going to do is just, test from lead to lead for continuity. So we're going to go ahead and just plug in our meter on the continuity setting. And there's the beep. So this one is getting continuity, just meaning that power is passing through it. And you can do an ohms check on these too, but pretty much at this point we know that this is good. And then we're going to come down here to the bake element, do the exact same thing. There's one of it on that side, and then right where the yellow wire was connected, right here, that's where and we also have continuity on this side now. So this oven is working perfectly. If yours is getting different readings than ours, and probably either need a bake or broil element, maybe a control board, but that's how you basically test these. And then the last thing I want to go over is just how to know if you have the proper voltage coming in from the wall. So right now the power is off, but if you put your leads on here, you set your meter to volts AC, and then plug your appliance in, you should be getting a 210 volts from here to here, and that's both line 1 and line 2 relative to each other. And then the other thing you want to do is go here in the middle, that's neutral, and then that side you should have 120 volts. And then this one's matching, come over this side, and you should have 120 volts there too. So line 2, that would be line 2, 120 volts. Line 1 over here, 120 volts, and then to each other, 210. So if you have good voltage there, all these other tests checked out, you're looking good. If not, if you didn't have bake or broil up here, then most likely you need a control board, and that's where Apex-Used-Appliance-Control-Boards comes in. Thank you so much for watching the video. Oops, I almost forgot. We've got to talk about how to get this board out, and they're just Phillips screws rather, and take these 4 screws out of it. And then we've got to just show you where to get the part number, because it's absolutely essential on these older Maytags to get the part number from the control board itself. You notice we haven't even taken the wires out of the board yet. We really don't need to do that to get the part number off. Just take those 4 screws out of it and then rotate it out, and you can find the part number right here. This one was on the bottom. And let me just turn around here so you can see the part number that we're looking for. We're looking for the number that ends in -60. And that's the part number that the manufacturer of all the control boards for Maytag used. So that's the number that you should be looking for to buy a control board for this particular style of oven. Thank you so much for watching the video, and I hope that helped.